Askreddit, Americans of Reddit, what is your opinion on switching to the metric system? A 12 centimeters long penis sounds much more impressive. I'm in. I'm in. Are you? If that means rounding up a 32 ounces beer to 1 liter, then yes please. You think the actual pour will reflect the change? As long as we can add fracton as a unit. Buttload is a real unit, does that make you happy as a consolation prize? The US tried to convert back in the 70s. But everyone bitched about it. I'm all in for switching. It would be really nice to go to literally any other country and understand size and speed. Edit, thanks for my first silver stranger. And yes, I personally can do the conversions and understand it's not that difficult, but lots of Americans can't be bothered. Technically we did convert. Congress passed a law establishing the metric system as the standard. But no one gave a frack. Metric system is miles ahead. The funny thing is, it's miles in German too when it comes to this saying, meilenweit entfernt. My persuasive speech in high school speech class was about why we should convert. This was 20 years ago. I got a good grade, but people love multiplying and dividing by 25.4 apparently. Edit, I program CNC for medical device components. Well over half the drawings I see are metric, machines are programmed in imperial. Many conversions back and forth between inches and millimeters. It's so freaking annoying. We're too lazy, so we rounded it to 25, if shit comes out weird, frack it. Americans will never accept a foreign ruler. Edit, thank you all for the upvotes and accolades. Ironically, the US military is all about metric. I'm fine with it, but a larger priority is getting rid of that damned daylight savings time. Europe uses daylight savings time too. The metric system is the official measurement system of the US. It has been since the early 1980s. However, it wasn't actually put into practice because we've already been using the imperial system for so long that changing everything over would cause trouble to the infrastructure. Like someone else already said, it's the equivalent of forcing a new language onto society because it's now the official language of this country. Everyone acts like it's just the US, but the UK and Canada also still largely use imperial system in many applications even though officially we're both metric. It's a very gradual shift. In Canada we switched 20 years before I was born and I still couldn't tell you how much I weigh in kilograms or how tall I am in centimeters even though it's written on my driver's license. Asterisk when doing construction unless for government jobs pretty much everyone uses inches and feet asterisk anyone talking about how much they can bench does so in lbs asterisk we mostly use teaspoon per tablespoon, cups for cooking asterisk our ovens work in Fahrenheit, but we use Celsius for weather. Asterisk we use SI for our tires asterisk we use square feet for areas etc. I would fracking love to do that. It is a lot easier to work with. As far as the country as a whole switching I would be fine with the UK method of using both imperial and metric to save on having to entirely revamping everything. So 90% metric, 10% randomly assigned imperial measurements. The metric system is the tool of the devil. My car gets 40 rods to the hogshead and that's the way I likes it. You Reut. I measure me chickens in STONE and I am better for it mate. What difference does it make when big tape measure is lobbying with tens of dollars to keep inches so they don't have to paint more lines? Are tape measures not double-sided like rulers? Not moving an inch. Don't think you'll find an ounce of support. Bald eagle screech. Freedom units intensify. Deleted. Yay, but since inches are bigger units, you can round your knob to the nearest inch, making it sound bigger than it actually is. If you round to the next centimeter, you haven't gained much. I think the world needs to move to base 12. Problem solved. I'd rather not have to learn to deal with $A/B2 bills or something. Reports say a man in CA was mugged, and they beat him within millimeters of his life. 25.4 millimeters. I think it's one of those things where on paper it makes sense to use metric, but it'll never happen because of the trouble to switch, not only infrastructure-wise but people understanding-wise. It would like changing our language because there is another one that is easier once you learn it. For everyone saying it isn't hard to switch, I'm pretty sure it's estimated that switching all signage, labels, etc. would cost billions. That's non-trivial. Oh Jesus, this again. I'm a tradesman and machinist regularly working in US standard units and occasionally metric. Each has their strengths and weaknesses depending on what you're trying to do. Most computation is done on a calculator today, so you're just hitting buttons and reading the answer anyway. If you can't figure out how to do whatever task you're doing in both, you probably shouldn't be doing it. The exception to this is estimation, because being accurate at that depends on your familiarity with the system. Furthermore, equipment is already made in either imperial or metric, and I wouldn't expect everyone to just retool at the drop of a hat. Goods manufactured in one system or the other have loads of equipment to create them that's very expensive to change. The people who need to use it, the academic community, already do. But the imperial system is so deeply ingrained in American culture I can't ever see it going away. If there was a real, concerted effort by the government and several private enterprises, the NFL, car manufacturers, construction companies and suppliers, then maybe. But it would cost billions of dollars and there is little financial incentive to do so. Even if there were gains to be made in the long run, corporations only seem to look a quarter or two ahead in the long run. The NFL, are you kidding? The game of football itself is based of the yard. They would never change first and 10 to first and 9.144. In general I wouldn't care, but you'd have to pry my Fahrenheit from my cold, dead hands. C degrees are too big. Agreed. Also, relevant XKCD. I would if decimeters were more commonly used because the gap between meters and centimeters is too much. Move to Sweden where both decimeters and deciliters are used. Meanwhile, here in Germany they just look at you funny if you use either of those. I am a member of the Atlanta, Georgia City Council and I just had a lady try to schedule a meeting with us about officially changing to the metric system for all city functions. She tried to confer with us but ultimately we wouldn't meet her. She was a mile off. Thanks for watching, listening. Don't forget to subscribe.